tested for. I loved the sportback looks coupled with a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbocharged engine. So I have never actually driven one of those. So this, being the newer one, is the first ever RS3 I've ever driven. So this being like a hyper hatch basically from Audi, what does it have to offer? I've driven a fair few S3s, I've driven the A45, but what does this as a completely standard car have to offer me as the enthusiast driver? Well, first off, I absolutely love the Nardo Grey paint. I know it's one of those things you would get an RS3 in Nardo Grey because that's sort of what you would do. You'd buy an RS3 in Nardo Grey. It does look incredibly brutish, this, although it does sort of fit in with everyone else in their normal cars. You can sense there's a lot more going on. The wider track width, the bigger bumpers with the oval exhausts at the back. You can sense that there's something going on with this car. So from the outside especially, the wider looks and the more aggressive front end with that gloss black bigger front grille, it does look very appealing. You then take into consideration that the S3 has a 2-litre turbocharged engine. What does this feel like with that 5-cylinder 2.5 litre engine? What does that mean? Looking through some other reviews, people were talking about the low end torque that you would get from one of these engines. So let's see what that's like. Let's see that 2.5 litre 5-cylinder, does that really make a difference to this chassis? Is there a lot more low end torque? And I have a boost gauge in front of me as a standard feature. We're in dynamic mode. The boost comes in at around, what, 1,600 to 2,000 RPM, so really low down in the rev range. And even at motorway speeds, drop it into second. Oh. It has bags of power. And when you do get to 5,000 RPM, it's like it kicks in a little bit more. There's a little extra boost to really get you round that rev range. It's a little bit like, I'm not going to say VTEC, don't say VTEC, but it's got a sense of occasion, like it opens up. So you've got the torque figure coming at around 2,000 RPM. Then at 5,000 RPM, though your red line's at 7,000, there is an extra kick of boost. So third gear, yeah, that 5,000 RPM, there's definitely something there. There's something happening. But this is a completely factory standard with no extra pops and bangs, no extra maps, no nothing. It has the 7-speed dual clutch flappy paddle gearbox, which, as I come to a stop, is phenomenal. Phenomenally good. Like, it changes gears so fast, and for this shoot especially, stop start has definitely been turned off. We're not having that in here. As we are sat at these lights, these seats are so comfy, like comfy. The car is in dynamic mode, so it's not in comfort, and it's like driving your living room around. It's beautiful in here. Lovely armrest as well. I love my armrest. You guys know I love a good armrest. Because I know a lot of people out there would like one of these, and I know a lot of people out there that maybe have an S3 and want to know what the RS3 is like in comparison. Just from the 10-minute drive I've had, the extra 500cc, the low down torque from this engine does actually transform the car a little bit. Oh. Yeah, there's bags and bags of low-end power in this thing. So guys, it is mega windy, but let's have a quick look around this RS3. Now, let's just talk about the paintwork, the Nardo Grey paintwork. Primary, glossy, but I absolutely love the colour on these sort of sportback RS3s. Such a cool colour with the black accents. You come down to this bigger gloss black honeycomb grille, RS3 badging at the front. Again, sorry about the wind noise. It is incredibly windy at the moment here in Birmingham. You come down to these gloss black wheels with the diamond cut faces just around, absolutely perfect condition, with wavy discs behind, which I absolutely love the wavy disc look behind these 19-inch wheels. You got the RS calipers there, huge brakes at the front. I mean, my hand, they're considerably bigger than my hand. Coming down to the side, tinted windows with the gloss black trims all round, RS3 badging in black just at the back there. Love the lines of this though, with the bigger spoiler on these RS3s, just gives it a bit more purpose And the wider track on the RS3s means that you can actually tell the difference. If obviously an S3 was sat right next to it, you would definitely tell a difference just in the track width and the size of the arches. The exhaust as well are oval on these, so just coming down oval exhaust with this diffuser, which I really like. Very reminiscent of RS models of the previous years. Stunning paintwork, car, everything. I absolutely love this. And coming inside to the car, just with the lights off, and flat bottom steering wheel with Alcantara here, the RS3 badging just in the center, RS3 up there with the RS logo on the gear stick as well. Coming into the seats, which have embossed RS3 logoing as well. Beautiful interior, very comfortable, quite big as well. I don't remember the RS3s being this size inside, but I think this is the first time I've really got in the Sportback S3, A3, RS3 of this generation. Coming even to the doors that have got Alcantara on them. Such a beautiful fit and finish in these RS3s. Very, very nice car. Massive thank you to RPM Performance for letting me take this car out today and experience what these are like. Although this is a standard one, the 5-cylinder engine is an absolute monster. It makes all the right bangs and noises, and it is incredibly powerful low down. Really is a stunning looking car, and it matches the camo hoodies as well quite well, but it is incredibly windy. Let's get back in the car. I think the bit that I'm struggling with is that I like my modified cars. I like a bit more pop and bang, more induction noise, turbo noise. So if I was to ever have an RS3 ever, although it's phenomenal out of the box, honestly, you would not grow tired of this car being as phenomenally good. It's a hyper hatch at the end of the day. This is as good as they come out of the factory, and I get that and I appreciate that down to the ground, but I would just have to put an exhaust in it. I would just have to map it, and I would just have to put some air filter or something on it just to make it a little bit more louder. The sense of occasion as it comes on is fantastic, phenomenal out of the box, don't get me wrong. I just would like to amplify that a little bit, I think. One hell of a sense of driving feel, this car though. It is poised and it is on it. On it. You're in comfort and you're in the lap of luxury inside this car. You look at the speedo and you're like, bloody hell, we're going fast. And you tip it into a corner and it just doesn't push out. It doesn't hesitate at all. The car is going around the corner. The four-wheel drive systems, the Quattro in this car is unbelievable. And the wider track and the wider stance, I'd say, from the factory, you can actually sense that when you're driving it. You can chuck it about and there is more of a sense of just a sense of planted, sense of it wants you to throw it round so you can chuck it in, and your body's the bit that's taking the brunt of the corners. It's not the car. The car's just doing it. It is not phased by what you're chucking it into doing. It does not care. My body is the part that's like, bloody hell, we're going into that corner well, and oh, it's gripping well round there. The low down torque means you can actually force it into a corner a lot easier than I have done in the past. Maybe some other four-wheel drive cars that maybe don't have the lower end torque. This has it. So just for that, this has a phenomenal drive, just from the fact that you can chuck it more and it's more stable than other rivals. I've driven the rivals. I would say I've driven the rivals. The price difference is there. There is a price difference in these compared to S3s, and I understand that this is a more thought out product. It's an RS range Audi, and you get that sense when you drive it. It's like lap of luxury in the speed, pace, cornering ability you could ever want in a car. But just the modified side of me wants a little bit more of a crack, a little bit more of an induction noise. And I think power mods for these, you can see touching, what, 500 brake horsepower out of these very, very comfortably. So if you're in the market for one, I'd get one in a colour you like. I like the Nardo Grey, so I would definitely chase a Nardo Grey one down. I would be more than happy with these seats. They are the most comfortable seats I have been in a car in a very long time. MPG wise, I've been giving it, you know, a bit, but cruising around town a little bit as well, and then a bit of motorway, and we've been averaging 19 MPG. Considering I've been really enjoying myself in parts, I don't think that's actually too bad. Prices can range on these, depending on how new it is and how much mileage it has. They can be quite expensive. You can get one mid-30s, so if you have S3 money and you're in the 20s, get an S3. If you have a 30 grand budget or more, definitely go and drive an RS3 and see what you think for yourself. It's just that, oh, out of the gate, force that I've never felt in a standard car. This is a completely standard car. No mods, no exhaust, no air filters, no maps, no nothing. And the force in your seat from a hot hatch, I've never felt it at this level in a standard car. I've never felt it. So standard car is a mega hatch, in my opinion. This is a mega hatch. You do get blinded by a few of these German cars being so good from the factory, comfort levels and just how fast they are, and it's hard to pick and choose which ones you really like. And this one for me has been one of them ones where I love RS models in the Audi range anyway, and for it to be ticked off my list of to drive cars, definitely, and as a standard car as well, I now know how good they are from the factory, and I know how, if you were to spec these from the factory, what you would be getting as a car, and you will be getting a product that has been well thought out, brutally fast, like brutally fast from the factory, well refined. Not once have I been uncomfortable, not once have I thought, oh, I wish I was in something else. My heart has been content in this car, and I appreciate that down to the ground. Anyway guys, I hope you like this video. Again, massive thank you to RPM Performance for letting me take this glorious RS3 out. It's one of those cars, again, as I said at the start of the video, where I liked the first generation and I wanted to one day drive one of these, and I'm glad it was in a standard one, so I can then progress onto maybe a modified one of these at some point, see what the tuning potential of one of these is like out the other side. But if you had liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're willing to buy one of these, go and do it. You will not be disappointed with the actual product that Audi has created, and I am forever blown away at what Audi are doing these days. And this mega hatch, I'm calling it a mega hatch, is one of those cars that if you are able to afford one, 100% go and have a look at one. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Whoa!